So what about physical activity? So physical activity is so important, so vital in the life of a child or an adult for so many different reasons. We know activity is really important in longevity, in general health, in mental, brain, psychosocial health, and it has a particular importance in diabetes. It helps us use insulin better, irrespective of diabetes or not, but especially when you have type 1 diabetes, activity is really important. It's important for those muscles to move, blood to flow well. And so I am a huge proponent of living an active lifestyle that suits you and your family. However, there are a few things we need to think about when we have a child with diabetes. So the American Diabetes Association recommends all children with diabetes get 60 minutes of what they call moderate to vigorous aerobic activity. Now, this is an effort-based moderate to vigorous. So what may be vigorous for one varsity junior athlete may be a very different vigorous for a 4-year-old child. And then the recommendations are also for muscle and bone strengthening exercises 3 times a week. I certainly do not think this means going to a gym and lifting lots of weights. That can in fact be harmful. So what you want to do is get involved in some aerobic activity and also some muscle strengthening activity, and this can be something as simple as just using body weight, push-ups, etc. Irrespective of what the activity is, it's important that it's fun, and it's important that it is something that you can come back to, or the child can come back to, and that they want to do it, that they feel good about doing it. So what about blood sugars? So blood sugars can do a couple of different things. If in some individuals who are extremely competitive, blood sugars can actually go up, and this is an adrenaline response, and then they'll come back down. In some individuals, what happens when you move is that you end up using the insulin you have better, and so your blood sugars can actually come down. You can become very insulin sensitive. In other words, the unit of insulin that may typically drop your blood sugar 40 points may now drop your blood sugar 50 or 60. So it's really important to follow some guidelines and make sure that you're checking your blood sugars either with the glucometer, or if you have a continuous glucose monitor, someone's looking at it, from time to time during activity to make sure your blood sugar is not too low. Now, if your blood sugars are really high and you have ketones, you probably should not exercise. And the reason is that when you exercise, you're using a lot of energy. You're in a very highly metabolic state. And if your blood sugars are high and you already have ketones, it means you don't have enough insulin, and your body is struggling metabolically. It's struggling to make energy. And so it's not wise in those cases to push yourself aerobically or with exercise. And so we would say, postpone exercise in that specific situation. If your blood sugars are really low, and you need to get them up first. Okay. So we have targets for blood sugars that we like to give you, and what to do depending on what it is. So let's see if we can scroll down there. So this table on the next page kind of lists out what to expect. And the verbiage kind of discusses what we already just did. So, if you're going to engage in sort of low aerobic activity, let's say you're going for a walk around the park. It's a nice 70-degree day, so it's not too hot or too cold. And, you'll be walking maybe 20, 30 minutes. You want to make sure your blood sugar is okay in range. And if it's over 130, then that's fine. Great. You don't have to do anything, take extra food right now. If your blood sugar is between 80 and 130, it's a good idea to eat 10 to 15 grams of a bit of a simple carb to bump it up just so that you don't go low. Now, eventually, as you get to know your body, you may realize you just don't need this. But while we're learning how it all works, this is what we recommend. And remember, these carbs that you want to take in are free without insulin, okay? Because movement is going to make you utilize the energy that you get from this glucose. If it's moderate activity, so maybe it's a walk and a jog here and there, that's going to be longer, then we want the 10 to 15 grams of carbs if your blood sugar is under 130, plus something extra, something more complex with a protein, so that, again, the whole goal is to avoid lows. The whole goal is to have enough energy in the system to get you through your period of activity without having a low blood sugar. And then if you're a varsity athlete, you have a big game coming up, and it's going to be a long evening, day, afternoon, whatever. First, please stay very hydrated. Second, those are our recommendations. That is, if your blood sugar is 80 to 130, you want to eat your simple carbs, bump it up, followed by 30 grams of complex carb and protein. And if it's over 130 already, still eat 30 grams of a complex carb or protein per hour. So if it's a really long series of games, you're going to be out for several hours, please have these snacks handy and continue to eat them throughout and stay very hydrated as well. Okay. If you are going out and it's hot or it's just even warm, you should keep a bag with your insulin and glucagon, glucometer, etc., and have it be a bit cold. So keep some ice or cold pack in there, but just make sure it doesn't freeze the insulin. Okay. So that is that, I believe, on physical activity.